started this lovely school because it is a lovely building. So I'm here with the beautiful Evan. I was up here just before Christmas. Your wonderful Wednesday classes from 4 till 6. You were making dumplings, and I really wanted to stay and have some dumplings, but I had time on I wasn't on my hands. But you I think it would be fair to say there's a kind of an exciting time for those within the community who obviously learning Chinese and the Chinese culture. We've got lots of good things coming up. By 2022, I think the idea is that the Chinese language will be on the Leaving Cert.
That's right, yeah.
And then young Richard Bruton, our just before Christmas, our Minister for Education, announced the fact that extra funding is going to be there because he recognises that languages are so important now.
Yes.
So it must feel like an exciting time for you because you're kind of at the forefront of Chinese language, certainly in this area, in this country, maybe.
I would like to think so.
Yeah,
it is really exciting, especially my kids will be in time to take on this Mandarin Chinese on their Leaving Cert, so it's really good. And I actually started this online petition nearly 2 years ago, and I have been bombarding the minister to push this forward. So I'm really over the moon,
nice.
When I see that press release. So now let's hope the DES and the SEC will actually deliver the project, and they not just talk the talk, they actually walk the walk. So fingers crossed.
But there is that feeling that maybe it's partly due to the internet, but we seem like a world that's much more connected than ever before, and we recognise the importance of all these different cultures and the fact that the world is one big, kind of happy family.
Yeah.
And it does seem to be that because of China's standing in the world and it is so powerful, that there is a recognition that this is, one of the major languages that
Exactly. Yeah. It is. But by population, it is the biggest language, by population.
Right.
Bigger than English, actually. I think, we have to congratulate our government to recognize the diversity, the importance, and the equality, So, to recognize the languages, it's important.
Because the way we live now, that we are sort of connected to the world so quickly. It's not like we have to, put a phone call in and try to get a message back on. Everybody's instantly in connection. So we now sort of deal with each other in such an immediate basis that having the language to be able to communicate to all parts of the world.
It's an
asset. Yeah. Especially for the young generation who kind of recognise that they can live anywhere in the world, but also they can, pretty much work anywhere in the world, even though they might, live in Greystones, they might live in China, or they might live in Australia.
Yeah.
You're connected to everybody all the time. So
Absolutely,
having the ability to communicate is a huge part of that.
Exactly.
We should mention, and last year was a wonderful event, but on February 25th, there's going to be the Chinese Character Festival, which you put together here in the Educate Together school.
Yeah.
And that seems like a great opportunity too, to just tap into the big rich culture that's there. You mean, obviously China's got one hell of a history, but there's I don't know for you if there's a certain plan about this year, whether it's kind of maybe more of the same, or whether you
well, there are similar activities, like competitions. We have big prizes for different competitions. For example, the calligraphy, we're going to have workshops and we're going to have competitions. And this year we have something new, because nobody is writing anymore. Right. We have the two activities that kind of contradict to each other. The calligraphy is, to recognize the beauty of writing, but then the typing competition, on the other hand, it's kind of because the technology and all this how we live, and nobody would do writing anymore. Everybody's typing, or you actually simply speak to Siri, and Siri will do all the work for you. So we'll have the two competitions. And we're also going to have a kind of like a traditional costumes. It's like a fashion show, just to tell people a little bit more about the clothing in different dynasties. And then later on, people can actually try them on, and then they can tag us on social media, and then there will be a prize draw on a kind of randomly basis. And we also have a very traditional, guzhen. It's the oldest instrument, I believe, in the world. It's like 2,500 years old.
Wow.
So we will have a little bit of demo of that, and hopefully I'll get our students to sing some Chinese New Year song. Given the time it is, and we are celebrating the Chinese New Year.
Right.
Yes.
We'll link to last year's. We were up and visited last year and got some lovely photographs, and just give people a taste of what to expect. And I was thinking about the language too. Is it 40,000 symbols? And am I way out there? I'm trying to think of But I do know there's 4 tones.
Yes,
Which,
you're right.
Which I know an Irish mother has 27 tones, and I think 26 of those are negative. But the 4, it is. I'm guessing it's for children. It's always simple to learn, but as an adult, you kind of think, wow, I don't know where I'd begin with that.
Yeah.
It must be kind of rewarding for you to see that people are kind of, more and more kind of stepping into this world, and as we've said before, people like Bruton have recognised the importance of it.
Yeah.
That must be very rewarding, that you know that there's an appetite for it all over the world, and here especially.
Yeah. Well, a scholar can understand like 20,000 words.
Right.
I don't think I know all the 20,000 words.
Right.
There are more words than, like you said. But like most people have this kind of they see Chinese as the difficult language to learn. But I can assure you, to know maybe about 1,000 words, you can get by. 1,000 words. Right. You don't need to know the 20,000 of them. And also, like Chinese, unlike other language, they have the grammatical genders. We don't. The Chinese doesn't have the genders difference. We don't have the tense. It's a tenseless language.
Okay.
So all you need to do is just to learn the vocabularies, like all the languages, but without the complications.
Right.
And tonal is, as you said, it's probably the most difficult part on the learning. But if you put, every Chinese word is one sound. Okay. And every sound has possible 10 or more meanings. Okay. It depends on the tones. But if you put the sounds in the one sentence, it's very unlikely that people get it wrong.
Right.
Well, there are some exceptions. And, for example, 要死掉了 is I'm dying, okay? Or 钥匙掉了 it's like I lost my key.
Right.
Or 钥匙掉了 means what if it's lost? So, I mean, there are, sentences like that will kind of, you have to be really careful.
It's very musical, obviously. I mean, it is almost like recognizing a piece of music. That idea that the tone changes the sentiment or changes the emphasis.
But that's the fun about, learning language, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, we should wrap up by saying now, China seems to be doing okay economy-wise. Obviously, Greystones is doing unbelievably well. Would China need any help? Would they need any advice from us about how to run their economy? Because we're just saying that we obviously Greystones is perfect, and that we have a booming economy, and we could maybe send the Flynn twins over there for a year just to help turn things around. And
why not?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, I think like organic and vegan. The fact Chinese like there are a lot of vegetarian.
Right.
In Asia. And we are into kind of vegetarian, probably more for the religion. Okay. Reasons.
Any reason's a good reason.
But why not?
So we'll get a petition together. We'll get the Flintstones over there for a year. That'd be great.